Hey everybody, welcome back. Episode 22 of The Complete Game with Kurt and Garrett Schilling. What's up, G?
What's going on, everybody? How we doing?
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
30th birthday.
Crossing into my 30s, my peak
Yes. Entering
as an athlete.
Yes. Yes. We're going to continue along from last episode talking about pitchers in the draft coming up. We talked about Seth Hernandez and Jamie Arnold. Hernandez, the number one pitching prospect, 18-year-old high schooler, and then Arnold, a left-hander out of Florida State. And then today we're going to talk about Kyson Witherspoon, Kade Anderson, Liam Doyle, and Kruz Schoolkraft. And then maybe talk about a little bit about a couple of big league prospects that people are questioning about or asking about. But we're going to kick off, and I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to share my screen with you guys, and we'll talk about a couple guys that are ranked. So this is the number 3 ranked pitching prospect, a 20-year-old out of Oklahoma, Kyson Witherspoon. And this is all according to MLB.com rankings. He's the number 8 overall prospect, number 3 pitching prospect, pitching in Oklahoma, 20 years old, 6'2", 206. And as I watch these videos, one of the things I need to, it's going to become almost redundant. Well, it's going to be redundant, but it's going to sound like a broken record, but it's not a small point. It used to be you would see 5 prospects and you'd see 5 vastly different types of mechanics, whatever those might be. That's not the case anymore. You're going to see a large majority of these young men with the same mechanics, and which, in my view, in some cases, not a good thing. And the commonality between these is going to be all of their finishes. You're going to be seeing guys who stand straight up and are max effort guys every pitch, and that's not sustainable. And that's one of the reasons why you're seeing a huge increase in arm injuries. And probably just as importantly, if you're going to draft these young men, you have to have people in place to address the issue right off the bat. Because, I'm all for drafting an 18-year-old over a 21-year-old if I get my hands on them and I can, address the concerns, the max effort stuff, and turn him into a pitcher at 19 or 20 as opposed to 3 years of college and all the innings and wear and tear to go with that. So we're going to start out with Kyson Witherspoon. Give me a sec here. And this is a little clip of him coming off of, and so I want you to watch, pay particular attention to the, so I like most of these guys from a tempo perspective, I like, right? I'd like to see, so if you look at this arm here, I'd prefer to see it straight back. This is kind of what you get when you hear people talking about a guy who short arms the ball. I'd like to see it come back, straight back behind him. Also, you hide the ball better. I like the front side, driving right, landing heel first, which is a fix that needs to happen. But I do like the finish down through, but notice the stiff front leg and the pivot to the left. But a much better finish follow through than most. And then same thing, right? See how he brings this arm back and it's bent that way and it's not straight back. I think that is something that can continue or cause shoulder issues, but good command, good fastball right there. So I'll let it run. But watch the right arm when he brings it back, how he brings it back short. Plus up, nice slider. Good movement right there. Good downward movement on an off-speed pitch. Break ball, good break ball down in the zone. But what you're looking at is, fastball, middle. You're going to have, like everybody else is talking about, you're going to have command issues. He's not going to be able to command the ball inside the strike zone. He may throw a lot of strikes, probably will, but it won't be command strikes. Nice pitch right there. So there's a 12 punch out game against Minnesota with Oklahoma. And like I said, I would really like to see this all the way back. This concerns me a little because it is a short arm and it is not healthy on your elbow. but plus stuff, just plus stuff. And like I said, he's the 8th-ranked prospect, 3rd-ranked pitcher, 20-year-old out of Oklahoma, 6'2", 206. So physically good build. You're looking at 15 to 20 pounds over the next couple of years. Muscle mass has the potential to be something special. So here's the next kid. This is Kade Anderson. Kade is a 6'2", 179 left-hander out of LSU, 20 years old. And again, same. So again, see the finish. A little better follow through. Gets down through the ball a little bit better. I'd like to see that energy going forward, but I'm not going to complain. Very good pitch right there. Gonna probably have better command because of that finish. See him hitting that outside corner like that pretty consistently. Look at that. That's pretty. Just dotting the outside corner. And that's a result of this, guys. That, as opposed to the guys you've seen standing straight up, this guy's down through the ball, finishing well, and just commanding that corner. And that's the corner you have to command. Look at that. That is gorgeous. And there's nothing you can do about that. You can't hit that pitch. If he's got the inside corner, you're looking at 93. And we're looking at, I just realized we're looking at a lot of the same pitches over and over again, so maybe not that much command. but again, that's healthy. That's a healthy finish. I like to get it a little softer on the front side, but these are all nitpicking things. That's a 20-year-old who clearly has it going on from a stuff perspective. I actually accidentally came across this kid watching him. I was out one night watching on ESPN, and this is Liam Doyle, 6'2", 220-pound lefty, 20 years old out of Tennessee, transfer. So take a look at that right there. I mean, the head, that is, yeah. And there you have the finish, right? This is, I'm throwing as hard as I can. And I said earlier, the problem with this is that there is nothing to go back in the well for. Like, he can't reach back and throw 3 or 4 or 5 miles an hour harder with 2 strikes because he's max effort every pitch. And that's tough to do. Physically, it's really hard to do. But look at that. No, let me back up. Watch this pitch again. Watch the catcher set up and watch the execution of the pitch. All right, so his catcher sets up right here. That pitch hits him. Now, you can get away with that as long as you're commanding the strike zone. But as you move up levels, it's going to be harder and harder. There. And that's a very different finish, much better finish. Which is, if you notice, all these are, you're talking about 3-2 counts. If you notice the fall off to the right, that's the direct result of the energy he's pushing to this side. He's got a lot left in the tank. He's got more velocity. He's got better command. He's got sharper breaking stuff on the horizon. As long as somebody teaches him about the last half of this delivery. I mean, a plus arm, very energetic kid, as all college kids are. Fired up. Like I said, I haven't talked to any of these guys. I don't know what kind of guys they are. They're competitors, though. So anyway, the last kid we're going to talk about he is turned into my favorite. There we go. This is the guy, Kruz Schoolkraft. Kruz Schoolkraft. 11th ranked prospect, 6th ranked pitcher, 6'8", 229-pound left-hander, 18 years old out of high school. Now, you can tell a lot about a pitcher mentality-wise by watching them do the little thing. Watch him warm up here. So this is him getting loose. I want you to watch the finish. Down through the ball, nice and easy. That's a free and easy 90. Not a cutter, by the way. And this pitch data stuff is crap. Not a cutter. Sinker. So you lose that, right? That ball didn't sink, and there's no reason for you to throw it. You throw it too hard. You're an mid to upper 90s kid. You don't need a sinker. Or change up. That's your change up right there. That's nice too. But look at the finish. The finish is very So he clearly has a really solid foundation to build on, right? That's free and easy 92, by the way. Nice and easy, 90, 90, 92. Right. All right. So watch. Now, what you don't want to see is a different pitcher once the hitter gets into play. All right. Sure why you started him out with changeup, but okay. 95. It's not a sinker, by the way. It might be a two-seamer, but it's not a sinker. Your mid 90s, and how can you not love this? Right. This is, and again, you're looking at nice controlled effort, good finish, working down in the zone, change up, slider. Slider up. But one of the things to note, it's 6'8", so it's going to be a little bit of a challenge for this kid that other guys don't have. He's got a lot of body here, but he's got consistent mechanics, which you have to love. At 18, he's way ahead of the game. And I would tell you right now, of the 6 guys I've looked at so far, he would probably be in my top 2 as far as projection, right? This is the kind of guy you end up reaching out to a guy like Randy Johnson, sit down with him and talk to him about being a big body pitcher and some of the challenges he's going to have to face. Nice. Good. 97. And let me go back. Just watch this. Look at this. This is 97. Just the difference in effort level. That is just special. Yeah. So this kid's got, he's got 100 in his pocket very comfortably, very easily. And somebody who, if I'm thinking, I'm after in the draft, because that's a incredible projectable player. So anyway, so that was Witherspoon, Anderson, Doyle, and Schoolkraft. We'll come back Thursday with some more guys. G, what's going on, birthday boy?
Not much. I got a quick question for you from Sam. Yeah. Did you ever try to throw a circle change? And was Pedro's the best circle change you ever saw?
So I tried. I had a lot of people don't know him. I had Johnny Kade as a pitching coach who had maybe one of the better changeups in the history of the game. And he taught me, like, he was a freak. He could throw his changeup by putting pressure on his knuckles and just throwing a fastball, making it spin, and it was phenomenal. Look him up. I tried. So this is what a circle change is. When you kind of take your point finger or your index finger off the ball, your pointing finger. No, I tried it. I threw it a couple times in the big leagues and here and there. And my biggest problem, I didn't realize this till after I was done. So I would grip the ball, try and take away velocity. But when I gripped the ball, I would throw it with a stiff wrist because I thought that's how you slowed it down. And actually, that was where the movement came from. Right? It's a fastball. I've taken the velocity finger off the ball, moved my 2 fingers to the middle of the ball, and you can circle it, you can do whatever. But the key is this, and I can never get there. And I never realized this. I don't know why. I just couldn't do it. It wasn't something I was comfortable doing. And I would throw it with a stiff wrist, so when my arm would slow down and hitters would pick it up. Pedro's was a wipeout pitch. The best I ever saw, the most consistent I ever saw was Maddox's changeup. Maddox could make his changeup go both directions on both sides of the plate, and he could command it as well as I've ever seen anybody command a fastball. So he had the most consistent, best changeup. The wipeout changeup, the best one I ever saw was Pedro's.
All right, and then this was just some trivia I wanted to look up. Since today is my birthday, May 27th, I wanted to, because I couldn't remember, since you were always obviously in the dugout or with the team on my birthdays during the season. I couldn't remember how many times you had actually started on my birthday. Do you have any idea? Ballpark?
I started on your birthday, right?
How many times do you think? Just ballpark guess. Twice. Yeah, right on the money. Do you know the years off the top of your head? Because one of them is a big one. What's that?
95.
95 wasn't one of the ones I saw.
Did I start the day after you were born? That might have been.
Yeah, day after I was born in 95.
Yeah, and Luis Gonzalez hit a home run off me in the 8th inning to beat me. Sure.
But it was 2 times, one in 97, one in 06. 97 was away at the Reds. So this is your career stats on my birthdays. 2-0 with 16 innings pitched, 18 punchouts, 15 hits, 1 walk, 5 earned runs for a 3.2 ERA. But in 97, it was a complete game, 11 strikeout, 7 hit, 1 walk, 1 earned run, complete game. And then
against the Reds?
Against the Reds. And then in 2006, it was at home for your 200th career win, 7 innings.
Tampa?
Yeah, against Tampa when they were still the Devil Rays.
Yeah.
With 7 innings, 7 Ks, no walks, 8 hits, 4 earned runs to become the 104th pitcher in Major League history to have 200 wins.
Yeah.
It's crazy that out of all that time, you only started twice, and one of them was your 200th career win.
Yeah.
Because I obviously remember that so vividly.
Yeah.
I was old enough to where that was such a big deal for me, too. But just crazy. So I figured I'd bring that up. That's cool.
Very cool.
And then, yeah, do you want to do the guess your teammate?
Guess your teammate.
All right, so guess your teammate. We got 5 clues from most vague to most obvious, and it is a former teammate of my dad. So watch as we try to stump him.
So people want to see your pretty face. Yeah.
Am I good?
There you go.
All right. So 12-year MLB career for 4 MLB franchises. I just turned 53 years young on May 24th.
All right. No, nothing.
No guess. All right. Next clue. Despite spending time with the Braves and Marlins in the 90s, we never faced each other.
Braves and Marlins. Braves and Marlins. Nope, no guess.
Okay. All right. I retired in 2004 with a 272 career average, but my single biggest accolade would be my postseason World Series average, which still ranks 6th all time.
Greg Colvin?
Nope. A career 306 postseason hitter, including a 3-for-4, 5 RBI performance to help force a Game 7 in the 2001 World Series.
Danny Batista?
Danny Batista.
Phenomenal teammate.
Drove in the opening run of Game 7 and was thrown out at third base.
There was, in Game 7, there was a dilemma about starting him or Reggie.
Yeah, it was a big talk. And if you go back and watch the broadcast, it's like something they talk about pretty frequently throughout the game.
Reggie, and they figured with Clemens that Bautista matched up with him, and he did. He hit that rope. The rope, and one of the best relay plays ever
of
made
all
by
time.
Jeter.
I went and looked it up.
Yep, throwing him out at third base. But it was a Pete Rose slide by Danny too, by the way.
Bang bang, yeah, he's flying through the air.
Great teammate, phenomenal guy. I think in the annals of teammates, I would say he's one of the more underrated guys I've ever played with. Could do it all. Phenomenal teammate. Could hit, could throw, played solid defense, and just a great guy. So
he was on some pretty deep rosters though, like I said, on the Marlins and Braves in the late '90s. So like one of those guys that you wonder what his career actually could have been if he hadn't been behind some of those guys who are Hall of Famers, if not borderline Hall of Famers right now.
Yeah, he was somebody. He was one of those comfort guys in the sense that if something happened and he had to play every day, you were very comfortable knowing he was going to do whatever he needed to do. And well, I mean, every team I played on that won a World Series, you could say that about the group of guys on that roster. So, all right, well, that's it for episode 22. We'll be back. We're going to pre-tape because I'm going to be out of town. We'll be talking about the draft. We'll be back on Friday, and we'll catch you guys then.
Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next game.